Hello, I'd first off like to start by clarifying, yes, I know it is July 5th, but I just tried to get this up by July 4th, and I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but things got in the way. I thought I could do it in a day, but it turns out it's a lot more work than I thought it would be. And I was about to finish it, but then I got dragged off to fireworks and all that stuff that 4th of July is all about. Parade, fireworks. Even saw a fire breather, which was cool, but that's a different story. But without further ado, I'd like to give you my 4th of July video. Happy 4th of July, the day that America decided to break off from Great Britain, start a huge war against them, and eventually win, and win our freedom along with it. Every American loves this holiday because we get to have all this fun, we get to eat hot dogs, go to parties, everyone has a party, watch fireworks, everything's all fun. But today I'm not going to focus so much on the parades and hot dogs bit as I am going to focus on the history of 4th of July, not only in America, but in other nations. I want to start off by saying America is pretty big. 3.7 million square miles big. And that means every one of our 300 million people should get about 280,000 square feet. However, this isn't very true because people living in New York get only about 2,000 square feet. The colonists, however, those people living in that huge sort of shaded-in region, they had much, much, much more. They had 4 million square feet per person. That's because those people living there, they had 150 times less people than us. So that gives them a bit of an advantage when it comes to space. On July 4th, 1776, our 2.4 million people and 374,000 square miles declared independence from Great Britain. We did this for many reasons. A couple of them are as the Great Britain had fully armed soldiers walking about in times of peace. Imagine having a soldier with a gun just walk up to you in the grocery store. And they had those soldiers, since they had nowhere else to sleep. The Great Britain was like, hey, how about you stay in people's houses? And so that was not fun. You have fully armed people just living in your guest room or up in the attic. And Great Britain also decided to capture some colonists and make them fight against the colonies on occasions. So that was no fun either. I drew up this Washington, D.C. license plate for you guys to show another reason why we split off from Great Britain, and that was the idea of no taxation without representation. We were taxed a lot. Tea taxes caused the Boston Tea Party, and we had no way to stop it because we had no representation in the British government. So we started this idea of no taxation without representation, but we still have taxation without representation in our country in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. has no representatives in either the House nor the Senate, and they still get taxed. So to this day, we still have taxation without representation, as you can see on this beautifully drawn license plate. July 4th isn't just celebrated in America, but it's celebrated for another reason. For example, in Rwanda, they celebrate Liberation Day, which celebrates, I quote the New York Times, the end of the Rwandan genocide and the birth of the new government that rose from the ashes. So Rwanda celebrates the end of that genocide that happened a few years ago, and the new government that came up out of it, which is absolutely great. The Philippines also celebrate an Independence Day of sorts on Republic Day, which is also on July 4th. That celebrates the day when the United States let go of the Philippines and recognized them as a nation. So the United States said, "You're a country now. Great job." This isn't something that is celebrated every year, but it's something that did happen on July 4th. In 1892, the international date line was actually changed, and it changed sides of Western Samoa. And that meant there were 2 Monday, July 4ths that year, which is pretty cool. Lastly, we return to astronomy and 1054, when Chinese astronomers noticed a supernova up in Taurus, the constellation of the Bull. And this is pretty cool because that became what we know now as the Crab Nebula. Now, what's also cool is that Mr. Messier, he decided to have his first object named after that. I'm pretty sure it's just he happened to discover it first, But it's also pretty cool that the first Messier object is one of the first major astronomical events that happened in human history that we recorded. I hope you guys had a great 4th of July, and I hope you guys have a great 4th of July next year. And this was my history of the 4th of July. So if you liked it, please tell me, because I might do more of these little history things. Have a great day, great 4th of July. I will see you next video.